was never more at home than I was in battle. I've done bad things. My soul is damned. Satan's creatures will take me should I stray from the path of peace. I have renounced violence.
Do I believe in God? No.
I believe in something. I'm really not sure what, but there's some kind of magic in the air that creates everything. I don't really know what it is, but it's something.
I think what I believe. I believe in people's need for belief in God. And that's the most interesting thing. That's what Kane is really about. It's about the search for faith. I come at it from a sort of Darwinian point of view, is that most of human society has a belief, one way or another, one reason or another. Now, either there is definitely something, there is a supernatural being or something which created us, or it didn't. But if so many of us need that, if it's so important, then there must be a reason for it. And I think that's an interesting conversation, because in the context of Solomon Kane as a movie, you have a man searching for his faith because he needs it. Now, whether that's a reality for him or not, it doesn't really matter, because it's what he needs. And that, to me, the character of Solomon Kane is a Puritan. He's a fundamentalist Puritan in many ways. And what we try to do with this film was to get to a place where he can understand himself.
Offer you a ride. The road ahead should not be traveled alone.
Solomon.
The devil was here.
I mean, in movie terms, there's good and there's evil, but there's very few movies which say, whether you believe in good and evil, these will have a profound influence on the rest of your life. And he exists in a world where, right or wrong, they absolutely thought it was real. And that's what matters. And the way that James plays it it's about the reality for him.
If you were perhaps a believer that I had some kind of predestined path to play this character who had pure faith, then perhaps. But I think it's a little bit more random than that, personally.
Solomon, what are they?
His army makes slaves of the weak and soldiers of the strong.
Solomon! Help us!
Stop! If I kill you, I am bound for hell. It is a price I shall gladly pay.
Michael's a brilliant director, an extraordinary director, and we worked incredibly closely together. I don't think I've ever had such a collaboration with another director, and especially in the sense that we would discuss everything. I think that he certainly thinks that, I would imagine that's why he chose me for the part, that I am able to access parts of myself and deliver them up on the screen that tell the story that he wants to tell.
Absolutely. And when you're looking for a performer, you say, yes, I'm looking at, maybe soul is an inappropriate term, but an essence of something. So when I met James, and I'd known him for a while, and we'd been looking for something to do together, we came in to talk about this character, and immediately there was a connection over, who he is, how we can bring him to the screen together. I needed a guy who was a proper man for a start, not a boy, somebody who'd clearly been places and done things that he was ashamed of, that he was trying to redeem himself for. And you're saying to an actor, listen, can you access these things? Can you bring that out? And there was no doubt in my mind, once we talked about it, that James could do that. I think what was interesting for me was particularly when writing the film as much as anything, and I can't speak for James in terms of his journey from a character, but you're trying to identify why something is important to somebody, and what is the structure and the device which gets them from day to day to day to day. Now, if the devil tells you that your soul is forfeit, he sent an evil entity to say, you have been so bad that now your soul belongs to me. And this man has enough strength of character to say, no, I'm going to find a way through this. I'm going to redeem myself. My acts of goodness and kindness and my giving away of my wealth, and I'm trying to be a good man, and my devotion to God, is that enough? And essentially, God comes down and says, no, that's not enough. Because what you are not a man of peace, you are a man of action, and you are a man of violence, but those can be used for good. So that is an interesting debate, because right now in the world, there is a hell of a lot of people doing a lot of violence on behalf of what they think is a message from God. Now, if you're a man like me who's interested in the idea of faith but doesn't actually believe per se, I'm outside that saying, how can these different branches of essentially the same religion have such conflicting messages? So that's an interesting idea within the story of the movie. Now, it's a very deep subtext, and it's a very deep conversation to be had, but it's interesting that you bring that up.
The character, by the end of the movie, I mean, quite a lot of his quest in the movie is entirely selfish. He does it in order to redeem himself, but simultaneously is trying to save the girl at the same time. And I think that what happens right on the very final scene of the movie is that we see a man who is come to some kind of understanding of what he's been put on Earth to do, and is at ease with that.
Or is
Or is
cinema,
cinema
your
my
God?
God?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with
you
him,
got to tell you, yeah, it is absolutely. I love it.
there really is not much else in his life. I mean, apart from his family and his kids.
Yeah.